Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that may benefit our hearts, reduce inflammation, improve cell repair processes, and help burn fat. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern in which you can cycle between periods of eating and period of fasting. And I can say that there are many types of intermittent fasting that you can try, such as 6-8, and 5-2 method. Numerous studies suggest that if it can have power benefits for your body and brain. And how does this particular, idea of intermittent fasting work? Because a lot of times people prefer to go into the whole dieting and without even understanding, which works for their body. Sometimes it makes one feel a little bit overwhelmed, tired, exhausting, and it results to inconsistency. Now, intermittent fasting works better than you trying to deny yourself from eating certain food because you're trying to, burn fat or maybe stay healthy in a way, and then you're cutting down on your meals. Now, intermittent fasting works better, but then how does it work? The idea behind intermittent fasting is that by restricting food, our bodies will more quickly and effectively tap our fat stores for energy. Now, this works better. It restricts your body from to be quickly to store fats in your body. Like, it helps you retain more energy. And while glucose from carbohydrate in our most direct fuel source, we burn fat for energy when glucose isn't available. Now, this also happens even more during times of food deprivation. So our ability to store fat is unlimited. Intermittent fasting can be done in various ways. There are no perfect fasting plan, and it really should be based on what works the best in your life. Now, you can decide to say, I'm going to give myself 12 hours, so I'm going to eat my breakfast, have my 12 hours differences, and then eat my next meal. Now, it doesn't tell you what your dieting plan tells you. Now, when you're having like a dieting plan and then you have your diet table or timetable, food meal, maybe your meal plan for the diet you're going through or you're about to start. Now it tells you that, in the morning you should just eat X, and in the afternoon you should only eat maybe vegetables, while in the night you just take fruits. Now we need to understand that our body needs carbohydrate, our body needs protein, it needs all the necessary vitamins like every day. Now, generally, we need to eat a balanced meal, so we cannot take certain things out because we want to lose or want to burn fat. Because most times the idea of dieting is because we want to lose fat, because we want to burn excessive fat in our body, or because we have this body that we want to maintain, so we deprive ourselves of eating the food we're supposed to eat. Now this causes health issues at the end of the day. So one method is fasting daily for a set amount of time, usually 12 hours or more. The average person sleeps about 7 hours a night, which counts towards that fasting time. So if you don't eat after dinner, then you could easily achieve a daily fast to help your body burn fat more effectively. This type of fasting could work well for someone who tends to be a nighttime snacker. So it helps you, cut down on that. If you're a nighttime snacker, now it helps you cut down on, certain snack, and then it works perfectly well. Another form of intermittent fasting is alternate day fasting. Now, this is where you eat whatever you want 5 to 6 days of the week and choose 1 or 2 days a week to fast. So you have 5 to 6 days a week. You can eat anything at all you want, but you can decide to say, if I want to do 5 days, then maybe I'll do like 2 days to fast. If I want to do 6 days, I'll do maybe 1 day to fast, and then within the week. And this also works perfectly well. Now, during these fasting days, water and broth is encouraged so you don't become dehydrated. Don't forget, don't do dry fasting. You have to drink water, because staying hydration is very important. By the time you decide and you say, I want to go through this method maybe for like 2 months, or let's say 1 month minimum, if you want to start this, and then you decide to deprive yourself of like, hydration. Now, what happens is after all of this struggle, you might end up finding yourself in a medical facility. You might end up finding yourself in the hospital. You might end up going through certain issues that your intermittent fasting did not help the process. So what you need to do is to make sure you have breath and water so you stay hydrated. Now, this type of fasting could be beneficial for someone with a work schedule that may be really busy some days and cannot eat on a regular basis. So it is important. Intermittent fasting is encouraged, all the time. It is I think it's one of the healthiest way to burn fat, to stay healthy, and of course to eat right. Eating is good. Yes, you have to eat all the time, but do not eat so much that you forget that, okay, fasting is important. In both Christianity and Islam, religious wise, they always encourage fasting. Now, fasting cleanses. It helps cleanse all the toxins in your body. It helps purifies, and that's why, when you fast, you eat more of vegetables, more of fruits, more of water to just clean your body and then keep you even more, healthy, energetic, and then you are more confident in yourself because you have this lightness. You feel like you're even more healthy, and then you're better after those process. So during the Ramadan, a lot of people that, you'll be eating this, eating that, eating this, eating that, and then during the Ramadan season, you fast and take out all of those excessive fat, and that's why you tend to see some people they are really losing weight. What is going on? Is it that because of the fasting? But trust me, it is good, because after the fast you start building your body back. Now, the same thing, the 24 days fasting, 31 days fasting that the Christian usually go through at the beginning of the year also helps to do the cleansing, both spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. It does all the cleansing. So intermittent fasting is just a 1 day or 2 day fast that you can decide to do within the week. Now, you don't have to eat every day. Like personally, what I do in my own intermittent fasting, I do 2:15, 6:15. I can decide to eat breakfast, not to eat breakfast, and then make sure that I eat my lunch, and that's it for the day. I don't eat lunch and I don't eat dinner. Sometimes I don't eat breakfast and I don't eat dinner. Well, sometimes I just do only breakfast, I don't eat lunch, and then maybe I take a little bit of light food, maybe fruits and vegetables for dinner, and that works perfectly well. So you can decide to try either of it, or eat whatever you want within the week, the 5 days, and then 2 days you can decide to make it your fast. So you can do either the 16 hours or the 8 hours fast. That's entirely left for you to decide. Now, welcome to this episode. Welcome to another episode here on Launch Global. I am still your host, Changana Mel Joseph. And today, of course, we're going to be looking at the importance of intermittent fasting, not to just burning fat, but our health benefits, why it is important for you to go through the process of intermittent fasting. If you've not done it before, you're not used to it. I'm very sure a lot of people have gone through, the religious kind of fasting. But this time around, we're talking about, those intentional fasting that you on your own decide to do, not backed by any religious rule or just because you're supposed to do. Or when, sometimes when you have problems and you want to pray to God, that's when you're like, oh my God, I need to fast so that God will listen to me. Now, fasting goes beyond religion, belief. Fasting is health-wise, fasting is very good. Now, intermittent fasting is the word for it, right? It is very important that once in a while, once in a week, twice in a week, just try and go through the process. And today we're going to be learning why is it important. Doctors, medical professionals have advised that it is important for you to go through intermittent fasting, especially if you're aging. It is important. So you cut down on eating too much of carbohydrate, too much of this and too much of that, too much of oil and all that. Now, it protects you from unnecessary ailments, cancers, diabetes, and a lot of illness that comes with age. So intermittent fasting helps on that. If you work out, you're someone who goes to the, gym, instead of dieting and depriving yourself of so many other things to eat, you can decide to say, okay, do the intermittent fasting. There are lots of people who have done that and it has worked for them perfectly well. So before we go into more details of what we have today, let's quickly go on a break. We'll return shortly.
Introducing Lunch Global, a culinary journey around the world. Tune in to Global Television with Chung Animal Joseph for a mouth-watering experience like never before. Join in as we explore diverse cuisines, exotic flavors, and exciting recipes from every corner of the globe. Lunch Global.
Welcome back from the break and welcome to Lunch Global. If you're just catching up with us today, we're going to be looking at the importance of intermittent fasting. You know, not just a fast, but what is it? What is the benefit to our health now? How does it change us? How does it change, the narrative? How does it make, how does it impact on our health and all of that? And we're going to be looking at some evidence-based health benefits of intermittent fasting. Now, changes in the function of hormones, cells, and gene. Intermittent fasting does that to you. When you don't eat for a while, several things happen in your body. Let's take, for instance, your body changes hormone level to make stored body fat more accessible and starts important cellular repairs processes. And some of these changes may happen in your body as a result of intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting helps repair cells, it builds cells in your body, and it helps repairs cellular processes. So it is important for you to start that, because your cells all the time develop, and then your body produce new cells all the time. So intermittent fasting helps with the changes. It helps to restore your hormonal level. It helps to help you in, make stored body fat more accessible and start important cellular repair processes. So one of the changes that may happen in your body as a result of intermittent fasting is your insulin level. Your blood level of insulin drops significantly, which promotes fat burning. So when you are going through the process, or when you decide to inculcate that into your daily routine, now it helps your insulin level. It helps your body, your blood level of insulin to drop, and then it also pushes the promotion of fat burning. Now, it also helps in your hormonal growth. Now, the human growth hormone, which is the HGH level, your body level of human growth hormone may increase dramatically. Higher level of this hormone promotes fat burning and muscle gain, and have numerous other benefits. It also helps with your cellular repair. Your body starts important cellular repair processes, such as moving waste material from your cells. And of course, your gene expression. Beneficial changes occur in several genes and molecules related to longevity and protection against diseases. So many of these benefits of intermittent fasting are related to the changes in hormone, cellular function, and gene expression. Now, it also can help you lose weight and visceral fat. Many people try intermittent fasting in an effort to lose weight. Now, generally, intermittent fasting will make you eat fewer meals unless you compensate by eating much more during the other meals. You will end up taking a fewer calorie. Additionally, intermittent fasting enhances hormone function to promote weight loss. Lower insulin level, high HGH level, increase the breakdown of body fat, and make it easier for your body to use fat for energy. For this reason, short-term fasting actually improves your metabolism, helping you burn even more calorie. Now, when you fast normally, or when you're even hungry, let me not even go into the fasting, mood, but when you're hungry, this happens to everyone. It's very difficult for you to eat too much. Now, you're so intentional with eating portion. I know people, sometimes when people are hungry, they just overeat. Even when they are full, they just keep eating and keep eating and keep eating. Very bad, very deadly. So what you need to do if you're very hungry, the only food, eating too much of food will not eradicate that hunger. Trust me. At that point, in few minutes, you'll still be hungry. So what you need to do is to eat in portion sizes. Now, when you're going through the process of intermittent fasting, it helps you eat fewer calorie, few meal, and because of that, it doesn't build up calorie. Now, it helps you maintain a certain level of fat that goes into your system. In a 2022 study involving 331 people with obesity, researchers found that those who participate in 12 weeks of intermittent fasting lost an average of 9% of their body weight more than those who engage in other weight loss methods. But this study focuses on the 5-2 intermittent fasting plan, which means the participant ate normally for 5 days and restricted their calorie for 2 days each week. The authors of the 2020 review of 27 students noted that participants during intermittent fasting lost about 0.8 to 13% of their baseline body weight. In a 2020 trial, also, researchers focused on people who followed the 16-8 method, which involves fasting for 16 hours per day and eating within an 8-hour window. So, there's a 5-2 and then there's the 16-8. Now, the people who fasted didn't lose significantly more weight than those who ate 3 meals per day. But after testing a subset of the participants in one person, the researchers found that those who fasted had lost a significant amount of lean mass, including lean muscle. More studies are needed to investigate this particular effect, but then we all know that the fasting helps burn the fat because, you eat for 5 days, you deprive yourself for 2 days, you eat for 16 hours, you deprive yourself for 8 hours, So it is very important that you can pick from either of it, which will work for you. If you love food so much, then I don't think you can stay a whole day without eating. So intermittent fasting can be either 16 hours or, 16 hours, 8 hours, and it can be also 5-2, which is to eat 5 days and then to fast for 2 days. Now, it can also reduce insulin resistance. Now, lowering your risk of type 2 diabetes, intermittent fasting has been shown to have major benefits for insulin resistance and to lead to an impressive reduction of blood sugar levels. Anything that reduces insulin resistance should help lower your blood sugar and levels protect against type 2 diabetes. Now, in a 2020 review of 10 studies on intermittent fasting, the authors concluded that fasting blood sugar was reduced by an average of 0.15 millimoles per liter. A 2018 study in mice with diabetes also show that intermittent fasting improves survival rate and protection against diabetic retinopathy diabetic complications that can lead to blindness. This result suggests that intermittent fasting may be highly protective for people who are at risk of developing a type 2 diabetes. However, there may be some differences between the effect in men and, of course, in women. Now, in 2015 study as reported in a 2017 meta-analysis showed that blood sugar regulation in women actually worsened after a 3-week intermittent fasting protocol, whereas men experience an improvement in blood sugar regulation. And it can also help to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in your body. Now, sometimes when you eat, you're tired. Sometimes when you eat, you just feel so heavy. And sometimes when we eat so much and then it's like the food is not staying in our body, the next thing that have you dewormed? Or you need to deworm your body. I know that right now we have so many medical personnel that have not gone through, they have not gone through the process of being a medical personnel, because someone can just look at you and be like, okay, you need this or you need that. When you complain about certain things, they'll tell you, no, you need to deworm. When last did you deworm yourself? There are so many things that they are not necessarily what we think they are, and that's why it's important for you to visit the hospital. You need a medical professional advice on certain things. When you have certain discomfort in your body, you need to do the right thing, go through the right processes, go for your annual checks, check your body, check your sugar level, check your inflammation level. You need to check your body, especially for women. Our body is we have a very tender body. Our body is so easy to there are lots of complications with our body, like really in general. So the best thing you need to do is when you feel a certain way, go through the right process, go to the hospital, ask your medical advisor on what to do. And of course, even if you want to go through the, intermittent fasting, don't just take a decision like that, especially when you're having maybe, diabetes or high blood pressure, and all of that. Before you go through any of these processes, please, I plead with you today, see your medical advisor, your doctor, for advice, so that he will help you. He will tell you what to do and how you can do about it. Now, you can also decide to create your own, pattern of intermittent fasting, just the way it works for you, because there's no like a certain way about, okay, you need to do it like this or you need to do it like this. The idea is to eat at the right time and allow your body, to process the food when it's supposed to process the food, not to just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And at the end of the day, be like, oh, you have to diet. You have to only eat vegetables only, or you have to eat fruit only for 2 months. No, that's not healthy, and that will not help you at all. So this intermittent fasting, just as I mentioned earlier, can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in your body. Oxidative stress is one factor that can contribute to aging and a lot of chronic diseases. It involves unstable molecules called free radicals, which react with other important molecules such as protein and your DNA and damage them. According to a 2018 review, intermittent fasting may enhance your body's resistance to oxidative stress. Additionally, a 2019 study suggests that intermittent fasting can help fight inflammation, another key driver of many common diseases. And of course, not last, but then last for today on my list because of time, it helps with your heart health. Now, your heart is very important. Your heart there are a lot of people who their heart failed them. They were not ill. There was no complaint of any sickness. There's no any trouble, but then they just slept and that was it. Or maybe they were just talking and then their heart just, skipped and that's it. So it may be very, very beneficial, may be very beneficial for your heart health. I mean, not maybe. It will be very beneficial for your heart health. So heart disease is currently a world's top cause of death. Just as I mentioned, various health makers known as risk factors are associated with either an increased or decreased risk of heart diseases. Intermittent fasting has been shown to improve several risk factors of heart disease, including blood sugar level, blood pressure, blood tricyclide, right? Yeah, total and LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, inflammation makers as well. So it helps. Intermittent fasting helps to regulate all of that. Now, heart disease, I don't even know this heart the heart failure, the heart disease, the risk, it cannot even be overemphasized, because we know that is one of just the key elements, the major factor when it comes to like the cause of death generally worldwide. So if you don't protect your heart now, is a lot. Sometimes, certain times fat starts building, and some people when they sleep they cannot breathe, or when they are eating, sometimes you'll be breathing very, very hard. You'll be breathing. Sometimes when you go to the hospital, they will tell you you're building so much fat. You have to start exercising, because it stops your heart. There's no space for your heart to there's no fat has covered everything. I'm even like getting lost, but then the fat has done so much damage already, and sometimes it gets to a level where when you ignore it, before you know it, it has caused a lot of damage. And that's at that process, I mean, it's like it's just bad news and bad news. You start trying to protect your heart, you start trying to do one or two things maybe when it's almost late. So one advice for you today, please, you have to look out for yourself. Intermittent fasting is not depriving yourself, or going through rules or the do's and don'ts. No, it's you staying healthy for yourself. It's you doing the right thing to protect yourself from a lot of things. It makes you feel good, it makes you feel better. If you're trying to lose fat in your body, and then sometimes as women, especially women, we can be very insecure with our body. So what works for a fast is not going to the gym. You can decide to go to the gym 10 times in a week, if there's anything like that, or let me say 7 times, then we all know that the week is just 7 days in a week. Maybe you want to go to the gym 7 times in a week and you still eat wrong. It's like you're not doing anything. Exercise, you don't have to go carry so much, or you must burn all the fat. No, easy and eating right. You can just use your dumbbells, do your little workouts every morning or every evening, and then eat right. You know, when you eat right and then give yourself breaks in between, then it's going to work perfectly for you. You can give it a try and then see if what I am saying today is right. Of course, you can read more about it. You can ask lots of questions. You can send questions through all our social media platforms displayed on your screen. And then, trust me, we're going to be more than, grateful to help you with that. And if you need any medical support, you want options and ideas, you can also reach out to us via our social media platforms, and then we'll give you an idea of how you can go about your health as well. So thank you for your time with me today on Launch Global. I hope you're going to inculcate the habit of intermittent fasting, because it's going to be very beneficial to you, especially when you are getting aged. It is important because, once you're getting aged, you're at the risk of, the diabetes, the heart disease, the blood pressure, and a lot of, some illnesses that comes with age. So with intermittent fasting, it will make you feel better. So thank you for your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll get to see you on our next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.